Hello everyone, people of God following us from different places. This is Teens Room, your show for teenagers, made for teenagers. And this is brought to you by BCN TV. I'm very glad to come back on our show, Teens Room. And I am not hosting this alone. I'm together with
Ketia.
Now, Ketia, today we have very special people in our midst.
Of course.
And we'd like them to introduce themselves to us so that we may know them. Who are they? What are they doing on this show? Could you introduce yourself?
Okay. My name is Perla. I am a believer, a lover of the Lord. I pray at Evangelical Restoration Church, Masoro Parish, and I will be hosting this show alongside everyone here.
Wow, nice to meet you, Perla.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you. My name is Elijah, and I'm a child of God, and I go to Evangelical Restoration Church, Masoro, and I'm glad to be here.
Nice. So, now we're going to the main topic of the day. We've got a new host and a new topic. So I hope you all are ready to enjoy what the Lord has prepared for us. Now, Ketia, would you introduce to us the topic of the day?
Yes. So first of all, today it's not going to be as it is used to be. Today we're not going to have like a specific topic. We're going to say our life before Christ and after Christ. How we met Christ, how we got to receive the Holy Spirit in us, and how He changed our life. So yeah, that's the topic of today.
Yeah. So, Ketia, would you start? The floor is yours. Show us the journey. Of course, we'll be talking about our journey. Who were we before we met Christ, and what happened after we encountered Christ, so that we basically help all other people who may be thinking, oh, everyone is talking about going to church. Everyone is talking about this Jesus, but like, what happened? So we're giving our experiences, what happened before we knew Christ, and then what is happening after we know Christ. So the floor is yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So this is not really easy. I have a lot to say, but I'll try to say it like in short words. So my life before Christ, I wouldn't say that like I had like a long life without Christ, because as you know, a pastor's kid. So when you are a pastor's kid, like you grow up, or like you live knowing a lot of information about Christ, about who is Jesus, about God, you know, the Bible stories. Everyone talks about God in your house. Everyone talks about Christ in your house, how you should behave as a Christian. So it was not really something new. Christ in my ears was not really new to me. But I feel like it became personal at some point. You know, it was not personal. The reason why I just say it became personal at some point, because it was not personal. It was just like a family thing, going to church, the Bible stories. Like, it was just like something normal, something that we're all living in, a routine, or like something that is normal. I guess you understand this. But when I started my teenage hood, or my teenage journey, that's when I think we say this before in like our previous shows. We say that teenagehood is it's like a process where you're now being an adult, where you now like start taking responsibility of yourself. You know, now I became a teenager. I started like taking responsibility. I grew old, and like I was no longer a child. I started taking responsibility of my life. That's when I had like to live, like, if I can say, to show my true colors, or like to live what I really am. You know, if I took Christianity seriously before that, I could have maybe like overcome, or like maybe been a better person of myself. Yes, or maybe the things that I wouldn't have fell into. So yeah, when teenagehood kicked in, things changed. It was no longer like even those of like saying it's like a house thing or it's a family thing. It was no longer there. Like I was living a completely life from what I've been taught.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's when I started like partying, I started drinking, I started like sometimes using drugs, having bad friends, and more to come.
Yeah.
Yes, so I guess this is how I would like say that's how my life was before Christ.
Yeah, that's really
Yes.
nice, Ketsia. You know, this is a show where we have different, you know, backgrounds, people coming from different backgrounds, people with different experiences, and having actually the experience of a pastor's kids that already knows everything about God. Your parents are serving, and is another aspect, you know, some of the people that may be watching right now may be facing the same thing. There are pastors' kids, they have been growing in these things, and maybe they haven't encountered Christ yet. So this is a nice way of, you know, getting different perspectives of different people in order to uplift each other.
Yes.
So me personally, I had the same story. Me too, I fellowship at Evangelical Restoration Church, Gikondo Parish. And the thing is, growing up, the time I started, you know, understanding things and, you know, growing up, it felt no different from, you know, living in a pastor's kid's home, because, you know, you're forced to go to church, you know, all the Bible studies, you go in Sunday school, basically, you know, verse after verse, you know, everything. Basically, the normal things, the, you know, surface level things about Christianity, you know them all. And then, I guess I'm going to take this example from Joshua Masasu, the son. He said most of the times when you do wrong, we of course know. Because we have been taught, we understand these things, so it's not new. We think we can manage, but we can't at all.
Yes.
So I thought I could manage, and then I loved God. Truly, I loved God. My wish when I was a kid is one day that God may choose me, that I may become one of His angels, and that I may fight the devil.
You wanted to be an angel.
I wanted to be an angel. I wanted to. When I was a child, I hated the devil with all my heart. With all my heart. He was my biggest op. He was my biggest hater. Literally, I hated him so much, and I felt like one day God is going to call me, and then I'm going to go. He's going to give me a golden horse, and then He's going to give me weapons, and going to fight the devil so bad and his kingdom. And I would lay hands on my parents when they were sick, and I would do all these things. I was really into it, you know, and I knew these things. But then I was really stubborn in school. I used to jump off buildings. I used to jump into, you know, fences and, you know, bushes. I was really stubborn when I was a kid. And, you know, of course, entering into my teenagers, you know, high school came in, you know. Of course, you're having that bad performance in class because of your stubbornness, but then when it reaches high school, it becomes a whole different territory. You're seeing things you've never seen before. Everybody has a girlfriend. Everybody has a boyfriend. You know, everybody does freaky stuff. You see, and you're trying to fit in. You see, you try to fit in. You're bullied, and you're trying to find yourself. Just as I said in our previous episode, it is a time of transition. You see, it's a time of transition from your childhood and period to, you know, you being an adult, and then that transition, you're trying to fit in, understand who you are. Where can I fit in? Of course, I find myself, we are all students, but I feel like I'm trying to be like them, not like who I am. So that I try to find a way I could fit in without doing the bad things that they did. So I decided to become the class clown. And then I would I would do everything to make other people, because when I would see them laugh, I felt like, okay, now you know, I can go with them, I can walk with them and whatever, you know, we can be friends and all. And I would do it at all costs. I would, you know, I've said it in previous episode, I would mimic animal sounds. I would do impressions of our school dean, and
there was always that one student making sound.
that was
that one student.
Yeah, when you hear that, you know that that goat, you know, in the class, in the back, you know that's me.
Yes.
You know that's me, and you know I would get in the dean's office a lot because of that. I would get myself in the dean's room. I would get myself punished by my parents. My grades, of course, you can understand, I couldn't perform because of that reason. I had bad relationships with the teachers, they just wanted me gone of their class every time. They will bring me out of the class, and certain times I will be sent home, and I find a way to get home without telling my parents. I don't know if they're going to watch this. But I will find a way to get home because of my mistakes and everything, not shaving, because of, trying to fit in.
Yes.
And then that's where you find yourself falling into sin. That's the time where I started falling into a lot of lust, and not only lust of, the flesh, but also lust of the mind. You're trying to start thinking about money. You're trying to start thinking about what, basically my high school years were just about that. And then, that was pretty much my life. And, I really thank God because I encountered Christ, and I'll just speak more of that when that part comes. But I really think, but that was basically my life, trying to fit in at all costs possible. So yeah, that was my testimony. I hope it helped a lot of you guys. So now let's go to Perla. Perla, what is your story? Who were you before meeting Christ?
Thank you. Before meeting Christ, I was a sinner. I got saved really early, and I remember one time someone asked me, "What did you get saved from?" Like, because I got saved just when I had turned 13. So when
that's young.
Yeah. So people were like, "Okay, so what did you get saved from?" And I like to tell people, sin is not action, it's nature, and people don't really understand. I just needed an opportunity. I was too young to get the opportunity, but the desire was there. Like I was sinful. I was sinful in my nature, but I never had the opportunity to do it because I was young. So I was a sinner, but I was also very empty. And I believe that all sin, and like you said, like trying to fit in and all these things, all of it is because we are empty, and there's a void in us that we are trying to fill. So I was really, really empty. Emotionally, I was broken. I struggled with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, name it. Any mental disorder that you know, I've probably been there. Any emotional disorder that you know, I've probably been there. Which is why I like to tell people, like people will say like, oh, mental health is not real. It doesn't exist. These depression things, then they're very real. They're very seriously real. Ask someone who's been there. So I was very antisocial. I hated people. Like people just bothered me. Being around people, and I just didn't like people. I didn't trust people. So I was empty. I was broken. I was a sinner by nature, just lacking opportunity to sin. And I remember just always, I like to say that it's not just a blessing to be alive, but also a blessing to have the desire to live. Like you want to wake up, you want to see the next day, you pray that God gives you the chance to. I didn't have that. Like I remember I would go to bed because I was so broken, and I would be like, God, I know there's someone in the hospital who would want my life and my breath. If I don't wake up in the morning, I'm okay. Like, give my life to someone else because I don't want it. Like, I really did not have the desire to live. I remember just going to bed and saying, God, I pray this is the night that I don't wake up. You see how, like, dark my life was? And outside, I was a good student. I was a very calm kid. I didn't, so you couldn't really see me and say, oh, that one is a sinner, But inside, there were so many things going on. I really did not want to live. I really did not want to be alive. And I believe that one of the things Jesus came to do in my life is to give a purpose to my life and to make me feel like I'm not just here to be here. Because a lot of the time I would feel like I'm just here to fill the numbers. I'm just here to be here. If I go, and the devil will tell you, if you go, no one will notice. Like really and truly, you have no, because I didn't even talk, it was like, sometimes I would go visit people with my parents, and I would spend I would find a room and spend the whole time in that room.
Oh, man.
And then when they say we are leaving, I also come out of the room and we go. So the devil would be like, you see, like if you go, no one will notice because you're not even there, So it's like if you were to die, people would go about their lives. So my life was empty, broken, and yeah, that's how I would summarize it.
Wow. That was the deepest. That was the deepest moment we've had on Teen's Room. Honestly. It's really nice to hear, because you never know who you could help with that testimony. Someone may be even watching this video right now, and they're going through the same thing. They have the same suicidal thoughts. They feel empty. They feel like they're not valuable.
Yeah.
But then we'll get to the part where you find your value, because you wouldn't be on Teens Room if you didn't.
Yeah.
So Elijah, this is your time. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I think at this point where I'm at, I'm just glad of seeing how far we've come. You know, when you hear testimonies like this, it just takes you back and you're in that place of being thankful to God. So I remember myself as well. Before I met Christ, I was an idol worshiper. It sounds strange because when we say idol worshippers, it sounds like Indians bowing down before wooden things and all sorts of things. But anything that takes the place of God and anything that you don't value greater than God, that becomes an idol. And in myself, I had put friends before God, and I had put drugs and alcohol before God. I remember this one time that I was drinking alcohol and I went to play basketball, and it was a terrible mistake because from there I was slamming myself on every wall that I could meet in the way. That was in school. And the reason why I did this thing and I find myself in the life of using alcohol and drugs and all these things is because you're trying to impress the people around you, or you're trying to fill up a void that is inside you. And I found myself in that situation where, you know, you're using drugs and you're using alcohol and nothing can fill the void. And from that, you try to be social and you think that you have all these people around you, but really none of that can fill the void that's inside your life. And yeah, from that situation, I had people that were around me, and but I never really had a friend who I was close with as such. And I knew that it was a sin, all this life that I was living in, but then you can't stop. Because again, with the knowledge of God that we have from growing up and the knowledge that we have as being children, we know it, and to not acknowledge it can put you in a place of sin. Because in Romans 1, it says that they knew God and they didn't acknowledge him as God. So God handed them over to their own deprived thoughts. And I was about to be in that state where God hands me over because I knew God, but I didn't acknowledge him. So as he was mentioning earlier, he mentioned it is that these lusts that are inside of me, I started to feed them so that I can feel accomplished or fulfilled. The lust of the flesh, doing things so I can please my own body, even if it's at the expense of someone else's purity. You know, the lust of eyes, where I'm going hours and hours on social media comparing myself to other people, and I try to live a life that that is not what I am. You know, maybe it's the pride of life, the clothes that I put on, and that becomes your value. The numbers that are on your Instagram account, that becomes your value. And that's what I was feeding into until it reached a point where it wasn't joyful anymore, and I wasn't happy, and I felt like no matter how far, nothing fills the void, and I only want to go to a next level of sin so that I can fill the void. But truly, that's not where the void could be filled. And I can say that's the life, just the life of continually trying to say, what else is there that I haven't done? And that would only kill me more.
On what you're saying, I just thought of the verse that says, the law condemns us. The law, the letter kills, but the spirit gives life. So a lot of the time, people know, like they know the they know the commands. Like I like to tell people, I like to think that even if you haven't read the Bible, or your conscience
itself tells you,
it tells you this is not what I should be doing and where I am, but that cannot take you out. So people are in a state of like, I know this is wrong, but I genuinely cannot come out.
You just can't come
so
out.
I'm gonna make peace with it and make it cool and make it look good and make other people do it too, because this is the life I found myself in and I have no power to live.
Wow, that's really amazing. Honestly, the Word of God tells us it is a sin to know the right thing to do and not do it. So most of the time we find a correlation between our stories, that you know, most of the times we knew and we just
We always
looked
knew.
over. So that is a great thing also, and knowing the truth that could set you free, but not accepting the truth. So now we've reached a great moment of now you see us on Teens Room, we're helping you, you see the impact VCN is having, but what happened? We're standing here because we have a testimony. We're standing here because Christ has done actually something in our lives. Therefore, thank you very much, guys, for following our 2-part series. Yes, just as you've heard it, How We Met Christ episode is a 2-part series. Therefore, this was the first part of how we were before Christ, and there's another episode waiting for us, how we were after we met Christ. Therefore, we'll see you there next time. Bye-bye.